Welcome to the Build Your Beautiful Business podcast with your host, Julie C. Butler. If you're looking to build the business of your dreams, then this is the space you want to be in. Join Julie as she talks about ways that you can successfully scale your profitable dream business, one that will give you ultimate time freedom and the abundant lifestyle you deserve. Julie will take you by the hand, sharing with you her business savvy strategies as she chats it up with her favorite online entrepreneurs. You'll get a weekly dose of boosted confidence as you learn as they reveal their insight, tips, and tools that you need to start building a profitable dream business of your own, one that you'll love and that works for you on autopilot.
Hello, and welcome back to the BBB podcast. Today on the show, we have my special friend, Samantha King. When teaching in the classroom wasn't the right fit anymore, Samantha carved out her own path. As a course creator, she quickly became frustrated with an industry that teaches others to create courses their buyers won't finish and is reluctant to share the roadmap to course sales success. Now, Samantha demystifies course creation and selling for her community. She has helped countless subject matter experts profitably teach what they know to the next generation. Hey, Samantha, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you on today. How are you?
I am doing really well. I'm having a blast over here. And I think it's because as Canadians, and you know this, we will take any time it gets to like 10-degree weather. We're super excited that the warm weather is here. So I've really been loving this week of just sunshine after a couple weeks of rain.
Right?
It's just been a lot of fun.
I know. And it's funny because I was talking to my friend Marissa in Australia, and she's like, I'm cozied up with my dog on the couch with blankets. It's cold here. And I said, what is cold for you? And I think it was 15 degrees or something. I'm like, well, us as Canadians, when it's 15 degrees, it's flip-flops and t-shirt weather.
Yeah. And that's what we're dealing with this week. So that's exactly what we've been doing.
Except for today. Today, I think it's going to be actually 25 degrees.
Yeah.
Nice. I know. Nice weather. Anyway, I'm so happy to have you on the show. And we're going to talk about repurposing your content into a top-selling audio course. And I'm super excited to dive into this because I think that it's like the next generation of being successful with course sales, like selling our courses. Mm-hmm. Right. And so, but before we dive in, how about you take a minute and tell the listeners a little bit about who Samantha is?
Absolutely. Well, as they probably already gathered, I am Canadian, enjoying the Canadian spring/summer weather we're having here. My name is Samantha King. I am a teacher turned course creator. And I actually was just saying to Julie before we hopped on, I wanted to get out of the house a couple of days a week. So I've been supply teaching. So I'm actually in the classroom, regularly. And I love helping authors, speakers, podcasters, YouTubers. I've even worked with some people with hobby-based businesses and product-based businesses. And I love working with them to repurpose what they're already doing into a course. So what that might look like, let's say I'm working with a YouTuber who's got a ton of educational content on their channel. We're going to repurpose that and find what's performing really well, because that tells us what our audience loves, and turn it into a course. And the way I do that is we look at that top performing content, we create an awesome audio course, and we'll talk about why audio courses. And then I love taking them through the pre-sale path where they are actually selling the course before it's done. So they have that proof of concept so that they know that this is something that their audience wants and people are paying them for it before they get to the end with this course that they then can't sell, which is a story that I hear a lot when people come to work with me.
That's awesome. And I know, isn't it amazing too that you built a business that, because you're a teacher, obviously you became a teacher because you love teaching, and here you are teaching some more, but isn't it wonderful that, you have your business, and if you feel like, I want to get out a couple of times a week, you can take a few supply jobs. Like, how amazing is that you get to choose, right?
Yeah. And I think that's the dream, right? Is just being able to have that flexibility of schedule to do what you want to do when you want to do it.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And so, in terms of course sizes, does it really matter? Like, does it have to be like a small course, or can it be like a medium course, big course? Does that matter?
It does. I think it does. As a teacher, the brain can't learn when you throw everything at it. So a lot of the past, messaging in my industry has been put it all into the course. The course is the business, sell the course. But when I work with my clients, we could look more at the customer journey, and we look at the suite of offers or products that my customer is selling, my client is selling. So what I want them to do is be really clear about 3 or 4 major shifts that their customer is going to have as they're on this journey that my clients play a part in. And what I like to say is we need to create a product for each one of those shifts that's going to help them get through those shifts. And your course is one of those products. And we need to build that into kind of your ecosystem so that your audience can take your course and have time to really debrief it, implement it in their lives, achieve the wins or the expectations that were outlined as part of your course curriculum, and then move to the next step, right? Because if you try to put everything they need to achieve those steps into one course, they're not going to finish it. And that's why we see course completion rates in the past have been 3%, because people are teaching how to create courses in a way that just isn't naturally how the brain learns. So I like to say, focus on 3 objectives, create a course around that, and then know what your customer is going to need to do next. Know what that next step is, know what you're going to need to teach them. And then we're going to create an offer, not necessarily a course, but an offer that's going to do that for them.
Yes. And it's important to remember too, like what makes a course good is not how much is in it, it's the quality, right? Because sometimes, like you said, if there's too much in the course, people are they're going to get overwhelmed, or they won't know like where to go, kind of like what direction to go in for the next like step. And like you said, they don't complete the course, and we do not want that, right? We want people to complete our courses, right?
Absolutely. I mean, that's the point. We're here to give them a transformation. We're here to serve. We want them to be able to do that. Whether it's, I've worked with people who are creating courses to teach others how to write fan fiction. I have worked with a YouTuber who wanted to create courses around quilting to kind of diversify her income streams. And I've worked with traditional based businesses who are here to teach something or help their clients achieve something. I've also worked with people who are using courses to sell more physical products. There's so many different things that you can use a course to do, but I think at the end of it, it's about the transformation. It's about helping the end user, your customer, your course buyer, get something from it. And if you can't do that because the course is too big, they don't finish it, or maybe it's just not. I've seen courses that have come to me and they're really all over the place. Like we need to really fine tune the curriculum, like what's in the course and how it flows and the logical and natural path of that. If we aren't doing those things, they're not going to finish it. And I can tell you right now, they're not going to come back. So if you're somebody who is a podcaster, they're going to stop listening to the podcast if they bought something from you and they feel that like they got burned.
Yeah.
They're not going to want to go, if you're a business provider, they're not going to want to go to your mastermind, your one-on-one coaching, whatever it is that we're designing the course to feed. If they didn't finish the course, they didn't get anything from it, from their perspective.
Right. I love that. And it's kind of like a representation of us, right? Like as a brand at the end of the day. So we want to make sure that we provide quality versus quantity. And I know you said this a couple of times now, but if you're listening to this, if it's only one thing that you remember from this whole talk, remember that we are selling the transformation, right? And that's so important when you're creating a course. It's not about, I want to teach this, that, and that, and that, and that. It's about, how can I get them from where they are to exactly where they want to be? And it doesn't have to be everything in the kitchen sink, right?
No, in fact, you don't want it to be everything in the kitchen sink.
Mhm.
It's better to cover 2 or 3 main themes, main action items that you want them to do, and really create an offer around helping them implement that, right? Because your
Right.
course is going to help them learn it. But what else are we putting in this offer to help them implement it and also to help them connect? So I talk a lot about how you need to create an offer around your course that builds community, because that's really what I see a lot of the course creators that I'm working with. Their brand doesn't, they have an audience, but they don't have a community. And the power in creating those raving fans that many of us are looking for, or that movement that we might be trying to make within the world, is connecting them to each other. So you're
Yeah.
going to get them. Yes, you need to connect them. You need to connect your audience to you. That's how you're going to bring them into your world as a paying customer. But once they're here, we need to make sure that we're doing the work to connect them to each other, to really create that community that many brands are missing right now.
You know, community is so important, and also it's good for business.
Yeah,
Right?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay. And I think
Absolutely.
like we could probably have a full-on hour conversation about this.
Yes, I could go on about.
I know,
community,
I
but that's
know.
not really what we're here to talk about.
No, exactly. Exactly. Okay, so moving on, how the heck do we find our micro course in your content?
Absolutely. So I love that you call it a micro course. For me, I'm like, you really just need it to be a course that does what it's supposed to do. We don't want it to be everything in the kitchen sink. So for those of you listening, if micro course is the terminology that you're like, yeah, that makes sense to me, keep going with it, because it's exactly what I'm talking about here. And I always say, don't start from scratch, right?
Okay.
You know this, Julie. So many people
Yeah.
they want to go and they're like, oh, I think we need a course on this, so I'm going to create this. And many times they come to me, the course won't sell. And the first thing I say to them is, where's your market research? Where's your competitor research? Did anybody actually tell you that they want this course? Forget about what you think they need. What do they want? And I say to you that you don't have to start from scratch. So yes, market research, you could be doing market research calls, but there's other ways to find out who wants what, right? And it's really about, the first thing I want everybody to do is dive into their content and see what is performing. So look at your emails. What is getting clicked on, right? What links are your community clamoring to click on from your emails? What subject lines are getting high open rates? Then you're going to want to go through and say, okay, well, what was that email about? And did they click through to this? Oh, they did. Okay. This now tells me that they might want something on that topic. They might want a course or a product on that topic. You want to look at your social media analytics. You want to look and see, okay, like what is performing? And by performing, I don't mean this one got a bunch of likes, or there were a ton of comments on here, but they were all like, you are so right. I absolutely agree. You know, what we're looking for here is who is making meaningful comments that show that they actually thought about what you said,
Right.
or which ones are being shared with meaningful posts ahead of it, not just like, hey, look at this. Right. So that's 2 ways right there that you can find this content. And I actually talk about this in my audio training, which is all about finding your top selling course ideas. And I give 9 ways to do that. And what I want you to really do is you're going to look at your content. You're also going to look at what your competitors are doing and see, you know, like if this is something they're talking about, is there a piece that they're missing? Is there a way that I can come at this conversation differently and create a product around that? Is there somewhere where they're dropping the ball and that's where I want to create my content? Because again, if you know they're selling that already tells you that the market probably wants it, but they may be dropping the ball somewhere. So you're going to check that out. You're also going to check out things like, you know, Google and askthepublic.com and even YouTube. Go on there and start typing in some of the keywords that you think your audience is looking up and see what comes back to you, and see what these YouTube will tell you exactly what they're searching. So will things like answerthepublic.com. See what's being looked at in the world, in the internet. What are people looking up? What are they looking for answers to? And is there a way that you can come at it again where you know, this is something that this is an angle that's not being talked about, or that's being dropped the balls. The other thing is you can create polls on social media. You can go into Facebook groups where your ideal clients are hanging out. Like there's lots of different ways that you, and normally I wouldn't go into this. Like I'm dropping some of the secrets for you, Julie, because it's you and I. But I think the main message is that you really want to look at content that you're already using, what your competitors are doing in communities and groups where you know your ideal clients are hanging out. Take a look at what is working and what is being talked about right now. So a great example of this, Julie, in our industry, you know this, AI came out, right? Like I feel like everybody was talking about Chat GPT. And I always want to say GDP, but I'm pretty sure it's GPT. You guys know what I'm talking about. And it was, and it still is kind of everywhere, but I mean, for a couple of months, that became something everybody was talking about. And so people were putting together trainings to show you how to do this. Like, hey, let me figure it out. And they were making money from that because that's what their audience was into. And it could be something that, you know, YouTube changes an algorithm and maybe you work with YouTubers, or maybe if you're, I'm just thinking of my quilting client, maybe there's a new machine that comes out and people want to learn how to use this new machine. She could create a course around that. I mean, we saw during the pandemic, I was talking to real estate agents about how to create courses as lead generators. So to get more clients in the door. I was talking to travel agents who couldn't book tours, but we were talking about putting courses together that would feature different places so that when the doors to the world opened back up again for travel, they had a list of people who were like, yes, oh yes, you taught me about Scotland in this course. Now I want to book with you. We saw student engagement go up in industries like beauty and makeup, because I mean, hello, how many of us were sitting on Zoom and needed to know how to be camera ready?
Yeah.
When we didn't think about it before.
Right? Yes.
Yeah. So it's really, it's about looking at what is going on in your industry, looking at the data that you have, whether it's looking on the internet or, you know, the YouTube, the Googles, the Answer the Public, or looking at, of course, your own analytics, and then saying, okay, this is what's really going on. This is what my audience is getting excited about. Now I've got a starting point, and chances are you already have content too to go with it.
We have some of us, a lot of us have amazing content in the form of blog posts.
Right?
Yeah.
So how can you, what I've really been working with clients on, and this has been something that's been, you know, coming together as we kind of get into this repurpose, like I don't need to create a new blog post. We have curated as lead magnets, great blog posts, podcast episodes, whatever. And then what we've said is, okay, so this is what they're getting because we know they like it. So we obviously looked at the analytics. We found the blog post people like, we found a theme, an overarching theme. We turned that into a lead magnet. Now that was the beginning. And a lot of the time, your podcast episodes and your blog posts, those are the what and the whys, right? Because that's your marketing's job. Your content marketing's job is to give the what, the why. And then I say, now let's start digging in deeper to the how. And that's what we're going to create our course on. So we now know that people are opting into these blog posts curated, and then we're going to say to them, great, you love that. Let's now work on the how. Let's create our course at this point. And you may have pieces of blog posts all over the place that kind of bring the how together, but our job in the course is to put it together in a logical sequence that the brain can learn from. And so you may have stuff and I say, yeah, we're going to use that. We're going to use that. We're going to use that. We're going to put it in this order. Yeah, that makes sense. Now all we need is this, 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 and this. And half of your course can be created when you use the process that I teach.
I love it. That's so smart. I love it. And it's like, I love it. You know, we don't have to reinvent the wheel sometimes, right?
No.
I mean, sometimes we want to, but we don't always have to, right? So I love that. And this is like, I'm listening. Yeah, I'm listening to you going, man, I could totally, like, I have a small course that I could totally turn micro course audio. Like it would be perfect for that.
Yeah. And I think it's really key to understand, you know, what an audio course is and what it isn't.
Yeah.
So as an autism mom, I can tell you that 90% of what we communicate is nonverbal. So if you are saying, I did a slide course, whether you were in the corner on video or it was just voiceover where you were not on there, a lot of the time that slide course, you can't really turn that into an audio course. You can give an audio version of the training, but it's not really a course because there are things on that slide that chances are you're referencing, even if you don't realize it, that your audience can't see in the audio version.
Right.
So an audio course, when I talk about this, it really is everything we need to know is in the audio, right? It's a recorded audio version. And there's a power to the convenience of it. There's an intimacy to it of having your coach in your ear or your instructor in your ear. But everything that they need is in that course. Now, we may add on things like a worksheet or slides, because I'm very much the teacher. I call those ancillary materials. Maybe there was not a slide, I should say, an image. Like there's an infographic you want them to have. So you're going to say, okay, when you listen to this module, this is the infographic. When you listen to this lesson, this is the worksheet for it, right? So we're going to have those things in there. And in some courses, we actually have demo videos. So for example, with your course, Everything Thrivecart, you might talk me through Thrivecart, but you may have demo videos that walk me through it. And people say well, then wouldn't that be a video course? Well, let's think about it this way. It's kind of a hybrid course, but let's think about it this way. How much easier is it for you to go in and do a quick demo video, cameras off, you don't have to be makeup ready.
I know.
It's a 5-minute video rather than you creating a bunch of slides and then still having to do the demo video anyway. Right? Or makeup artists, right? Think about it this way. I'm working with makeup artists. Like, tell me, I want to be able to listen to it in my ear. I mean, we know that. We've seen the rise of social audio. We know the conversion rates on podcasts. Like, people love audio.
Yes.
So tell me how to do it in my ear. And then what I've done with these makeup artists, I've said, you're doing this technique. Do you have a TikTok video or something that you've already posted where you've kind of already done this? Oh yeah, actually, you know what I do? Great. That's now our demo video. See, we're repurposing. Or if they don't, I'll say to them, I need a demo video. Give me like a quick 5-minute video, right? Same thing, right? Same thing with travel agents. They can find videos or images based on wherever they are, whether it's deposit photos, etc. There's lots of places where you can get royalty-free stuff. And then they can actually just put like a rolling video together. I mean, there's video channels on YouTube where this is all it is with music. And that can be, we're talking, let's say it is something on Scotland and we're talking about Edinburgh. In this course, you're going to put together a bunch of images of the things you're talking about in Edinburgh. And it could be, and I may be saying that wrong, it might be Edinburgh. But again, it's a quick demo video. It lets people see different things and you're not on camera.
I love it.
You're not creating slides.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not just about the strategy I teach is not just about repurposing. It's about convenience for the user. And it's about how do we get the most meaningful thing together, quick and dirty, as I call it, because I feel like people just overcomplicate the course creation process and you don't, it does not need to be a huge production.
And we overthink things way too much, but I love that because like you can actually sit down, you don't have to create slides. Like how magnificent is that? Right? And you can just talk. I mean, obviously maybe you want some, some points or whatever in front of you so that when you're talking, you're covering everything, but
or have your whole script in front of you. Cause guess what? Nobody's going to see anything. You could read right off your script.
Yeah. I love that. Cool. Okay. So how to design it so that it prepares people to work with you one-on-one.
Yes. So I kind of already alluded to this, but this is really about figuring out that customer journey, right? They're going from A to B on some kind of journey and you fit into that, whether they're rediscovering a hobby, whether they are learning to love themselves more. Let's just say you are a self-love expert, or maybe with you, they want to create beautiful graphics for their website, whatever it is. They're going
Right.
on a journey. We need to meet them where they're at. So this is
Mhm.
why it's so important that you look at your current content, because sometimes you'll want to create a course, and guess what? Those are not the people that are currently in your audience. You're trying to create a course for them 5 steps down the road. We need to create a course for them where they are right now.
Mhm.
So let's say for you, Julie, maybe they have no idea how to use Canva Pro. And you're like, wow, a lot of people keep emailing me, asking me these questions that I thought were like super basic with Canva.
Yeah.
And I'm realizing that that's not it. So
Mhm.
I'm going to create an audio course where I'm going to walk them through all the things that Canva can do. Right. So again, we're cracking open the possibilities. And then you're going to create some demos showing them how to do it. That's kind of where the course comes together, right? Here's the possibilities. Here's how to do it. And you're doing that because you know this is where they are right now. And you know that you have a product afterwards that once they master Canva, then they're going to be ready to take this program or to buy or to come to your design weekend retreat or to work with you one-on-one in a branding session or whatever, right?
Right.
So that's what we want to do. We want to be clear on that journey so that we can create something based on who is in your audience right now that will lead into your other products, your other offers, because that is how we help them. That is how we help them on the journey. So we want to design it so that it does exactly what it needs to do for you as a business owner, but also so that it's very clear how you're helping your customer and what they need to do next.
Right. So I was actually going to ask you that. So this could be like our micro course could be like our low ticket offer that gets people in the door and prepares them to jump into our program or like our higher ticket program or work one-on-one with us or whatever that case may be. So it could also be that, right? Like our tiny offer or low ticket offer.
Yeah.
Like there's different names for them.
Yeah. Tripwire. I call it a base model offer, right?
Right.
Tripwire, the first step in the whatever it is, it's the first step in their buying journey with you. They've been in it, they've been in your audience, now they've bought that, and then where do they go after that? This is how you should be designing your course, because otherwise, what's the point? Right? So always creating a funnel around whatever you're developing, including your course. All right, they like this. I've got these, I can tell because these are my top rated blog posts in the last month. I see a theme here. That's going to become my lead magnet. Now, after that, what is the how? How do I teach them that? That becomes the course. And yes, it leads into this bigger opportunity for them, because they're on a journey and you need to create a suite of products that takes them naturally through that journey. Don't make them think about it. You think about it. You figure out what the natural progression is. And that's what you're going to be creating a suite of offers around. And we're going to create a course that fits right into that.
And I think I saw also what I love the most about this concept is that, you know, we're all busy. We're like, a lot of us are moms, and, you know, whatever that looks like for you, whether you're a mom or, you know, we have stuff to do and we're busy. We like life is just busy now, right?
Yeah.
So how amazing is that you can buy a course, a micro course, and consume the content while you're going for a walk, and you don't have to sit in front of your computer to watch it. You can do it while you're doing dishes. You can do it while you're at the park with the kids. You can do it like it's so easy. It's easier and I think better to consume the content of your course now because of the way that you've put it together for a busy mom, especially if it's like a micro course that it's not going to take you, like, you know, there are some courses that are just more robust, right? So that you need to actually sit down and take the time to, you know, to do the work and whatever. But in this instance, I love it because it may actually increase the percentage of people who are going to consume this course that they bought from you, because now they can do it on the go.
Absolutely. Yeah. They can do it on the go. It doesn't have to be a whole thing. And I think too, you can create stuff and people can come back to it and listen to it again. So if I'm listening to, I often like to listen to things 2 or 3 times. So maybe I'm listening to it while I'm walking the dog. And then I might come back to it later and say, okay, great. These were the things that I know I need
Yes.
to do now.
Yeah.
Or I've got my voice memo app on my phone and my watch that I can say, okay, listen to this module. Here are my next steps, whatever it is. But I think that it's something I've been testing out for the last year with my clients, because what I was seeing was people weren't jumping for video-based courses all of a sudden. They didn't want to sit in front of their computer any longer. So I started looking at, okay, like what kind of content is really getting people excited? And of course, there was podcasts, there were things like Clubhouse, a lot of audio content. But I also looked at my industry, and when I see big names like Thinkific pairing with Hello Audio, which is a private podcast hosting platform, they do public stuff too, but like every time you're hearing these private podcast feeds, Hello Audio is one of the people who does this, and they're pairing together. And Thinkific, of course, being a course hosting platform that works with people creating course businesses, I kind of went, oh. And so then as I was digging deeper, I was seeing, okay, yeah, like this is something people are into audio courses. And my clients and I started testing it out. And we were seeing increase in sales. People were a lot more willing to buy that than their past video courses. We were also seeing an increase in engagement. So people were finishing the courses, which, like I said before, it had been at 3%. And we also found that, the way we were doing it, the way I created an offer, a community-based offer, we were seeing that people were connecting to each other because they were listening to the material. They were then engaging, whether it was showing up to calls in a group setting, whether a Facebook group, Heartbeat app, whatever you're using. And it made that transition to the next opportunity a lot more successful because people were connecting to each other, because there was a convenience to having it in their ear. They were actually doing the work, so they felt like they could show up to the call and contribute. They had a frame of reference for people posting in Facebook groups. And there was an intimacy, there was a stronger connection because yes, one, they were doing the course, but two, it's almost like being on the phone with the person delivering the course, right? And it's like a lost art. We're not on the phone that much anymore.
No.
And I was
not very much at all.
Yeah. And so that's what brought me around to modifying my process for audio courses. It's what brought the launch of the Monetize My Course program, the audio course creation program I run. It really was just, hey, this is what's working right now, and let's get it out there.
Awesome. And I think, it's funny because I had another question, but I think you just talked about it. How to use the course to build the community your brand is missing.
Yes, right. And I've talked about the power of connecting them to each other, right? It's not just about connecting them to you. That's what gets the first sale, but to create the movement, to get the next sale, to keep them going on the journey with you, you have to connect them to each other, especially now after a couple of years of not being able to connect. This is what people are looking for. And so you really want to get clear on how people can connect and get creative with it. Like, it doesn't have to be another Facebook group. It doesn't have to be more Zoom calls. It could very much be like once a month we get on a call, and I want you to actually do something which might seem a little counterintuitive, but this call is not a group coaching call, but it's about thinking. And I just talked about this at the Grow Your Podcast Summit. It's about thinking beyond who your course buyers are as buyers of your course, right? So like, what else do they have in common? So for example, my audience might want to get on, and we're going to create community because we're going to host a watch party of the new Bridgerton show. I teach people how to create courses, but my brand is built around TV references, GIFs, memes, and graphic t-shirts. So what we might be doing, I may say they're probably coming to me because they vibe with me and maybe they like the TV references. So I'm going to say to them, hey, this is the next thing I'm watching. I'm watching Queen Charlotte, who wants to watch it with me, or I'm watching, Yellowstone, who wants to watch it with me. So we're thinking about them to create a truly powerful community. Yes, we're going to have parts of your offer that support them with the course, but I want you to please, please, please think about who they are beyond the course, because that's where the community is going to start. Another thing people might have in common with me is that I love the nomadic flexibility, freedom. Like, hey, today I want to supply teach. I'm going to go do that. tomorrow I want to go here, I'm going to go do this. And all the while running my business remotely. So maybe what we're going to do is we're going to have in our community that we're chatting in, I'm going to have a thread with like, hey, I'm going to be in, Austin, Texas. Tell me all your best work spots, right? Or tell me all the places I should visit, and I might have those 2 threads running for a couple of weeks where I get a bunch of nomadic entrepreneurs who jump in and go, oh yeah, you got to go to this co-working space. It's great. And then somebody else says, and you got to make sure that you eat at this restaurant. It's right by that one, right? So we're thinking about them beyond just, hey, here's how to create a course. I'm thinking about them as humans, and that's how that's part of the offer. And it's also part of what I do inside of the community building feature that I've included in my offer.
Okay.
Right?
I love it. Oh, this is also like you're having me rethink like some of my courses here. This is great.
Right? I mean, think about it. Like you're moving soon to another country. People eventually might part of your audience might be people who want to do exactly what you've done. And so maybe you could even bring in a guest expert who talks just about that into your course community, because even though it may not be directly related to your course, it is directly related to your course buyers' lives and their dreams and the transformation you're helping them on. You could even, I just had an idea and I have to share it. I've got to get this out there, but you could even interview them all on a private podcast feed. Start interviewing your course students so that they can get to know each other that way.
That is cool.
Right?
I love that.
Like,
yes.
Sorry, I had to share it with you guys. I normally don't go into this much depth, Julie, but you and I are always sitting around chatting. And so I feel like it's just you and I chatting. And I'm like, oh, I just had this idea. Oh, what about that idea?
I know I do that all the time. I love it.
Right?
But no, it just makes sense. And these are the little ways also that we can like think outside the box, but do something outside the box too, right?
Exactly.
And that is going to make us stand out in a busy online world, right?
Yeah, if you are in online business, you're dealing in an attention economy right now, where the places you're going to market your business are making money based on who's paying attention to what, right? Your attention span is the commodity that's being traded. The attention span of your future clients, your audience, that's the commodity that's being traded. So how do you stand out? How do you do things differently? And it's not just about thinking outside the box, it's about doing outside the box.
Yeah. And also we have to keep up with the trends, right? Because like we don't want to stay behind, because then also, well, the success is going to stay behind with it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. You need to be helping your audience, but you need to be doing it strategically and in a way that is selling right now, because you are a business. You're not a hobby. This isn't a hobby. You're not a charity. This is a business, and you deserve to be paid.
Yeah. I love it. Oh my God, so much goodness. So you have this awesome freebie. It's called Monetize My Content with an Audio Course podcast series. Tell us about that and why everybody needs to download this.
Yeah. So if you're intrigued by like the whole audio course thing that I've been talking about here, then you definitely need to listen to this audio series. And it really is a great example of how you can provide value without, like, it does not have to be a polished, Marie Forleo level podcast. People are not looking, they're just not looking. I'm going to be honest with you. They are just not looking for that right now. What it is just me riffing on the topics that I think you need to know and think about before going into the online course world. So we start by talking about, our audio course is a thing worth doing. I spend an episode talking about, or a lesson, if you will, talking about why people fail with digital courses and other course creation programs. I talk a lot about something that many of the course creators who come to me miss, which is being a product manager for their course. And I talk about how that's costing you sales. I also discuss in one of the lessons the pre-sale path and how you can save time and make more sales by going that way. We dive deeper into some of the things we've talked about here, which is you shouldn't be starting your content from scratch, you shouldn't be starting your course from scratch. It's already in your content. And I just think that if this is something that you are wondering about, listen to this. It's, it's probably like 30 minutes, maybe 45. Pop it in as you're driving in the car, start listening to some of the things that I'm saying, and really think about this course from a strategic element. Don't just jump on the bandwagon. Learn the process that I have been teaching to create and sell courses before they're even done. And why audio courses are the courses that are selling right now in this market, in this world that we are in. I love sharing. I love teaching. So listen to my thoughts on those topics, because I think they're not being taught and they are important to your course selling success.
Amazing. And I love it. And also you're right. Like, this is the perfect example of how, because signing up for this podcast series, right, you kind of get the experience of what it could look like inside of your course.
Exactly. And how it could all work. And then just imagine working with me to go that next level and create a flushed out audio course. And that is kind of where I love to help people, is in my audio course creation program, Monetize My Course, and getting in there and really teaching them all that they need to do to create and pre-sell their course, a course that people are excited about, and a course that they've used their own content to curate and create and repurpose, so that they're not starting from scratch in an audio course format, which means no videos, no slides.
I love it.
Just so convenient for you.
You had me at no makeup.
Right? Exactly. So, and I think it's the way that it's so hard to stay on top of everything that's going on in your industries. And so how can we get something out quick and dirty? And by dirty, I don't mean unprofessional. I mean just quickly and effectively teaching what you need to teach without overthinking, without overproducing. Get it out there fast to your audience so that you can start helping them now.
Yeah. And it's like you're talking to your best friend. Like, we all do this, right? Like, I remember like 2-3 years ago, I would get together with my friends and we talk shop, right? Because that's what we do. And I would like basically, ramble on and on because you're so passionate about the topic that you're teaching on. But I would go on and on and on about helping her, build and grow her business that eventually became my course. But we do this all the time. And so how amazing is it that you can just sit down in front of a microphone and record yourself talking passionately about the things that you love talking about and teaching about, right? Like, there's nothing to overthink here.
No, absolutely not. And that's what I love the most about it.
Speaking of working with you, tell us, because you have something going on right now, and I want you to talk about it, because I think that if you are listening to this right now and you're like, oh my God, this is next level stuff. I need to get in on this while it's hot. Samantha has something important to share with you.
Yeah, I do. I've mentioned it a couple of times. The Monetize My Course program, which is really about monetizing your content, is for people who are looking for ways to make your business bring in the profits for you. You have this content hanging around and you want to turn it into an audio course that is completely ready to launch a pre-sale by the end of the 12-week program. And there are live teaching components. There are also implementation weeks. So it's kind of like when we were in college and we had reading weeks where you're actually doing the stuff and I'm here guiding you through it. I'm here showing you demos. I'm here helping you with all the tech pieces. And for me, it was also super important in this program that I get to look at what you're doing. So you're handing it in to me. I'm looking at it. I'm providing feedback as well. There's a personalization to this course that has me limit it to about 20 people. And it's a program where you're basically working with me for a fraction of the cost over the course of 12 weeks. We talk about your personalized course strategy. We talk about turning your free content into a paid course. I talk to you about your tech stack and do actual demos for you to show you how to do it all and give you the weeks to actually do the work so that if you need the help, I'm there. And also we talk about making your first sale. So those are the 4 kind of areas that we cover in this course. And it's very important to me that when you walk out of this, you know exactly how your course fits into your business ecosystem. You know exactly what your your next offer is going to be and how to get them there. You know exactly how to get traffic to your sales page, the right people who are going to want to buy the course without paid ads, and that you're making those first sales right away.
That sounds amazing. And so Samantha, this is okay. So we're recording this in May, if you're listening, but this is going to be live. This podcast episode is going to be live on July 6th. So at the time of this podcast episode going live, is your program open for joining right now, Samantha?
Yes, we're actually, when this goes live, we are going to be in doors open mode.
Awesome.
Julie has all the links, all the goodies, all the awesomeness that you can actually spend your summer doing this with me. Because like I always say, Julie, if you don't do the work and plant the seeds in the summer, I know we all want to go on vacation. But the reality is, as business owners, we need to plant the seeds, we need to nurture, we need to harvest so that come fall, we are ready to start.
Hit the ground.
Yeah, hit the ground.
Hit the ground running. Yeah.
And this is a great opportunity for you to do that, because you can create the course that I'm talking about in 12 weeks. Think about it. No slides, no videos, no nothing. It's literally just you talking into a microphone. And we're going to, and we don't even need to create the whole thing.
Yeah.
Strategy.
I know, right?
And we're going to get out there and sell it.
It's number one. You don't have to create the whole thing. I love that. And so this is a program of yours that, because there's going to be people who are going to be listening to this later on and be like, oh no, I want part of this program too.
Yeah.
So this is something that you launch, and it's a closed program, but you launch it several times a year, right? So
absolutely.
The wait list, if you missed the July run, get on the wait list, right?
Yeah, you can get on the wait list. You can also come hang out with us on Facebook. I'm launching a new group at the time of this recording. So in May, the Course Creators Den, and you could hang out with us there as well until the doors open again.
Awesome. And, of course, follow you on all social media platforms, which I will share. I will share everything in the show notes. So no worries. When I publish this episode, you'll be able to find, if you're listening to this, you'll be able to find everything in the show notes, to be able to find Samantha easily and her program as well, which sounds delicious.
Yeah, absolutely. Julie has all the links. She knows how to get a hold of me. It's absolutely, there's no doubt in my mind that she'll get you what you need.
And of course, if you have any questions about this program that Samantha's putting on, go find her, and you can, pop into her DMs or email her and ask your questions. She's like, Samantha's awesome. She's like top notch, like next level human. You're so amazing, and you're welcome, but you're always willing to, first of all, you over deliver all the time, like even just like in the podcast interview that like we're recording this, and you're just over delivering, but you do the same. But that's what makes you stand out, right? Like you do the same in person. And I know that, if anybody has any questions about your program, that you were gonna like be there in a second. Well, maybe not in a second, but you're there to answer any.
That's right. We're going to make sure you get the answer you need. We're going to make sure it's the right fit for you as well.
Exactly. I'm excited to see who's going to jump in this program or follow you and maybe do future runs with you. Definitely, I think it's something that we definitely need to think about seriously and putting on our roster of offers.
Absolutely. It is. I mean, you're just being able to show up for your audience when you don't have, there are things they don't need to learn without you there holding their hand. Yeah. And that's how we can start to kind of have some more residual income streams in your business, which I think is powerful.
Not to mention how cool it is to have a podcast series audio course. It is really cool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's right. I love it.
Amazing. Well, I think that concludes our talk, Samantha. It's been so amazing, like everything you talked about. And I think it's definitely like giving everybody food for thought. And if you're ready to, like we talked about, if you're ready to hit the ball, the ground, the ball, hit the ground running and, go full force in on a micro audio course, like definitely check out Samantha's program. It will, I mean, I've not done the program myself, but I know just from, being your friend and talking to you like on several occasions now, I just know that, it's going to be an amazing program and definitely complete full content. And
Exactly.
I know you don't mess around when you're teaching. So, well, you are a teacher. So
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Still do.
yeah. Thank you so much, Samantha, for being on the show today. This was so fun. I'm excited. I cannot wait to release this episode and, to also share your program with people.
Thank you so much for having me.
And if you are listening, I will talk to you on the next episode next week.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Build Your Beautiful Business podcast. If you did, please make sure to subscribe, rate, and review the show on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Julie's included a link in the shows to make it nice and easy for you. And if you want to create a beautiful, profitable business of your own, make sure to go unlock your access to Julie's 6 must-have resources for female entrepreneurs. These resources will help you build and grow your business with simplicity and ease. You can find them at juliecbutler.com/freebie vault. We'll see you in the next episode.